Listen to me. I am 94 years old, and I have been sitting in this chair for 3 days now, trying to find the courage to say what I am about to say. Not because it is hard to remember, but because it is hard to admit that I spent the most precious years of my life not understanding what was actually precious. My name is Walter. Walter Eugene Brooks. I was born in 1931 in a farmhouse outside Knoxville, Tennessee. And if you give me the next few minutes, I promise you, what I am about to tell you will change how you see everything. Not tomorrow, right now. I grew up poor, not the kind of poor people talk about today. The kind where you went to bed some nights not knowing if there would be breakfast. My father was a tobacco farmer, worked himself to the bone every single day of his life. Hands so rough they felt like tree bark when he shook yours. He never complained, not once. My mother raised 5 children in a house with 2 rooms. She cooked everything from scratch, sewed our clothes by hand, and every single night, no matter how exhausted she was, she read to us before bed, just for 15 minutes. But every single night. I asked her once why she always did that. Even when she could barely keep her eyes open, she looked at me and said, "Walter, the day will always take from you. It is my job to give something back before you sleep." I was 7 years old when she told me that. I am 94 now, and I have never forgotten those words. But I will tell you something honest. I understood those words with my ears at 7. I did not understand them with my heart until it was almost too late. When I was 25 years old, I was consumed by one thing, getting ahead. I had a job at a manufacturing plant in Knoxville. Good job, steady pay, but I wanted more. Always more. I worked 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I told myself I was doing it for my family. I had a wife named Ruth, the most patient woman God ever put on this earth, and a son named Daniel who was 3 years old. Daniel used to wait by the front door for me every single evening, just sitting there waiting for his father to come home. Some nights I came home after he was already asleep. I told myself, it's okay, he's young, he won't remember. Here is what nobody told me at 25. They remember. Not the specific nights, but the feeling. Children do not remember the toys you bought them. They do not remember the vacations. They do not remember the things. They remember whether you were present, whether you looked them in the eyes, whether you made them feel like they were the most important thing in your world. Daniel grew up, became a good man. We had a decent relationship, but there was always something between us, a distance neither of us could quite name. I named it eventually, when I was much older and much wiser. It was all those evenings he sat by the front door, waiting, and I chose work instead. If you have children, please hear me. The work will always be there tomorrow. They will not always be 3 years old. Sitting by the front door, waiting for you. That time is going, right now, as you watch this. It is going. I worried about everything. Money, what people thought of me, whether the neighbors had more than we did, whether my boss respected me, whether I was falling behind in life. I carried worry like a second job. I worried so much that I missed the actual life that was happening right in front of me. Ruth used to say, "Walter, you are always somewhere else, even when you are right here." She was right. I would be sitting at Sunday dinner with my whole family around me. Food on the table, children laughing, music on the radio. And I would be thinking about Monday morning. Let me tell you what I know now that I did not know then. I worried for 60 years about things that almost never happened. And the things that did happen, the hard things, the real losses, the genuine pain. None of them were the things I had been worrying about. Worry does not protect you from the hard things. It only steals the good things while you are waiting for the hard things to arrive. I lost Ruth in 2009. She was 76 years old. Cancer, 4 months from diagnosis to the end. And I sat by her bed in those final weeks, thinking about every Sunday dinner where I had been somewhere else in my mind. Every evening, I had been too tired to really talk. Every morning, I had rushed out the door without really looking at her face. I did not worry about losing Ruth. Not once in 54 years of marriage did I stop and worry about losing her, but I lost her anyway. And all that time I had spent worrying about things that never mattered. I could have spent looking at her face. Please, put down whatever is worrying you right now for just one moment. Look around at what is actually in front of you, because that is the real thing. That is the only thing. The third thing, and this one is the hardest to say. At 25, I thought I had forever. I thought time was something I had in unlimited supply, that I could spend it carelessly now and be careful with it later. Later, that word, later. I will spend more time with my father later. I will tell my mother how much I love her later. I will slow down and enjoy my children later. I will stop and appreciate my life later. My father died when I was 34. Heart attack. Sudden. No warning. We had not spoken properly in almost 2 years. We had drifted. Nothing dramatic, just drift. The kind that happens so slowly you don't notice, until one day there is an ocean between you and you have no idea how it got there. I never got to close that ocean. I drove to his funeral from Knoxville and sat in the church and realized he never knew how much I admired him. I never told him. Not once. I assumed he knew. I assumed it was obvious. I assumed there would be time. There was not time. My mother lived to 89, and I made sure with her, I made sure she knew. I told her every single time I saw her, every phone call, every visit, because my father taught me. Even in dying, he taught me. But I want to save you from learning that lesson the way I learned it. The people who built you, the people who shaped you, the people who are still here. Tell them, today, not after this video, not tonight, right now, today, because later is a promise that life never agreed to keep. People ask me sometimes, Walter, if you could go back to 25, what would you do differently? And I used to say, work less, worry less, tell people you love them more. But I have been thinking about that question for 30 years now. And I think the real answer is simpler than all of that. I would pay attention. That is all. I would pay attention to the ordinary Tuesday evenings, the unremarkable Sunday mornings, the regular dinners with regular people that felt like nothing at the time. Because that is where your life actually is. Not in the big moments, not in the achievements, not in the things you spent your whole life chasing. Your life is in the Tuesday evenings, the ordinary mornings, the quiet, unremarkable moments, with the people you love before those moments are gone forever. I am 94 years old. I cannot walk without help anymore. I cannot drive. I cannot do most of the things I once took completely for granted. But I can sit by my window every morning and watch the sun come up. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that a sunrise has never been wasted on me. Not in 30 years, every single one. I watch every single one because I learn. Even if I learned later than I should have. I learn. Walter Eugene Brooks, 94 years old, Knoxville, Tennessee. He still sits by his window every morning. He still watches every sunrise. And he wanted you to know, you are not behind in life. You are not failing. You are not running out of time. But you are spending it. Every single day you are spending it. The only question worth asking is, on what? If this reached something inside you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not later, now.